As promised, today for is OP on BlackTideTV, we'll be taking a look at the PKM light machine gun. The PKM light machine gun is a brand new weapon here in Call of Duty Modern Warfare Remastered. It was added in with Operation Lion Strike, Operation Lion Strike being the most recent supply drop operation in this game, including 3 new weapons: the D25S, which I mistakenly called the R25S in yesterday's video, the PKM light machine gun, and the MAC-10 submachine gun. So in this series we go through and we decide if new DLC or supply drop weapons in the most recent Call of Duty games are in fact overpowered, in my opinion, or if they are just mundane. Now with Call of Duty Modern Warfare Remastered, we're running into this same old problem where it really doesn't seem like Raven Software have a handle on creating weapons with any sort of balance, as most of the weapons that they've added in so far are incredibly powerful. The 44 Magnum is a better Desert Eagle that you can suppress. The MWR is on par with the M16 in terms of capabilities, and we all know the M16 to be one of the most overpowered weapons in Call of Duty history. The Kamchatka 12, being fully automatic, is easily the best shotgun in the game, and the MAC-10 submachine gun, which we reviewed yesterday, and I will leave a link to that video in the description down below and cards in the top right corner, is an absolute savage. It's uncomparable in terms of a perfect balance of damage, accuracy, and fire rate. So they've had a pretty mean track record of making very, very powerful supply drop weapons, and then we get to the PKM, which is nothing of the sort. The PKM is powerful in its own right, but in my belief, an overpowered weapon needs to transcend its weapon category. A weapon that is overpowered needs to be able to outplay all weapons. It needs to be better than assault rifles, it needs to be better than submachine guns, it needs to be better than light machine guns. It can't fall into one category. Sure, it can be the best in one category, but it needs to be better than a lot of other weapons in this game. It needs to be able to compete in almost any situation and almost always come out on top. And this does not describe the PKM. In fact, I wouldn't even go so far to say that the PKM is the best weapon in its category. The RPD light machine gun has this weapon outclassed in almost every single way. The RPD, of course, being a very well-renowned weapon in Call of Duty Modern Warfare Remastered, well known to be one of the better weapons in this game and easily the best light machine gun. This does not change with the inclusion of the PKM. The RPD is much better than the PKM, outperforming it in terms of damage, accuracy, and fire rate. So the PKM will have a 3 to 4 shot kill range, dropping off to a 4 shot kill at a considerable distance, but it still has that 4 shot kill range, whereas the RPD does not have a 4 shot kill range. It is a 3 shot kill across the board. The RPD fires at 705 RPM, whereas the PKM only fires at a meager 631 RPM, so the RPD has it beat there. And in terms of accuracy, the PKM is much more accurate as far as side-to-side recoil goes, but the RPD is much more accurate in terms of up and down recoil, which is much more noticeable and is the recoil that most people take note of when firing a weapon. Most people don't seem to mind the side-to-side. I am quite glad that the PKM kind of narrows down that side-to-side recoil, as I do notice it and it does impact my gameplay, but most players are more concerned with the up and down recoil that the RPD will suppress. Lastly, we'll need to discuss the iron sights of this weapon and mobility or handling, depending on what you call it, as I find the two to be very strangely linked when it comes to the PKM. So the iron sights are very nice, they're very easy to use on the PKM. You'll see me using an ACOG sight in this gameplay just because I threw it on the game before and it just felt really right. It felt like it belonged, and I don't use ACOG sight lightly in this game. In fact, I quite despise the ACOG sight, but it just felt really at home when it came to the PKM, and maybe that's because the sprint in and out times as well as the raise and drop times of the PKM are much faster than any other light machine gun, and the ACOG sight is a slower ADS iron sight or optic that you can't really use on a weapon that's already going to take so long to lift up and down, to aim down sights with. This weapon you can lift up and you can come out of a sprint much faster, meaning you have more time to aim down the sights of an ACOG sight, and you can actually use the ACOG sight to your benefit. So this weapon is a little bit faster than the other light machine guns in terms of coming out of a sprint and raising your weapon to fire right away. So if you happen to come around the corner at the same time as an RPD user and you're both using stopping power and he has no idea you're going to be there and you have no idea he's going to be there, you might potentially have the drop on him with a slightly faster raise time and you might be able to get the kill. But that's the only time that the PKM will outperform the RPD. In terms of raw power, in terms of raw, sheer, theoretical time to kill, the RPD has the PKM beat in every single situation. But in my opinion, the PKM is the second best light machine gun in the game. Now, also in my opinion, no light machine gun in this game is overpowered. I don't find the RPD to be overpowered because, as I said at the beginning of this video, an overpowered weapon really needs to transcend its weapon category, and the RPD just doesn't do that. The RPD is very, very powerful, and it's easily one of the better weapons in the game, but other weapons can easily outperform it, like the M16, XMLAR, MAC-10, AK-74U, etc. So that is going to conclude my video on the PKM today, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. It is not overpowered, and I wouldn't suggest that you go for this one unless you're a really big light machine gun fanboy. But that's it. I hope you enjoyed it. Let me know what you think about the PKM in the comment section. Hit the like button, subscribe, and I'll catch you guys on the next video.